Over the last 4 games, Damian Lillard averaged 26.7 points, 6.3 assists, and 2 steals on 56% shooting. And in each of those games, Milwaukee came out on top, boasting a perfect 4-0 record. So it's crucial that the Bucks get the aggressive version of Damian Lillard, the guy who's looking to score first and pass second. And he's really started to assert himself more and more as of late. When he's coming off screen and roll actions with Giannis, he's changed his approach. Last season and earlier in this season, Dame was just passing it to Giannis every time, despite having space himself, not fully taking advantage of what the defense was giving him. This made Dame passive and easier to deal with at times, but recently there's been 3 reasons why all that has changed. The first reason being that the Bucks offense has started to ramp up the pace. On the season, the Bucks rank 9th in pace, which is in the upper part of the NBA, but recently they've been speeding that up even more. Often Dame would just walk the ball up the floor, taking valuable seconds off the clock, having less time to get into a set. But after watching film, Dame made a crucial adjustment.
When I'm watching film, just paying attention to the trends of what I'm doing when I'm playing well, when things are going well versus I'm not playing well. One of the main things was pace. Just seeing it on film and seeing how much better my rhythm to the game is and my timing and just my movements are when I get the ball up the floor with pace. It's good for our team, but it's also been good for me.
Getting the ball up the floor sooner to start sets have made a drastic improvement over the last 4 games. Here, Lillard gets it up in a hurry, and because he's a threat to shoot the 3-pointer, the Sixers defender comes to contest, leaving Giannis open at the basket. Now off the Sixers miss, Dame pushes the pace, giving to Giannis, who does the rest, getting the bucket plus the foul. Damian Lillard really looks a lot more threatening when he goes quick, as here the Sixers defense isn't able to stop the Giannis-Dame pick and roll, getting an easy 2 for Giannis. When Dame and the Bucks go quicker, easy opportunities open up, like here as Dame rejects the Giannis screen, completely losing the Sixers defense for 2. Now you see it again, as Lillard isn't giving the Sixers any time to regroup, attacking them even after a make. Again off a miss, Dame isn't wasting any time, making the hit ahead for Ryan Rollins, who finishes off the play. Now Giannis and Brooks set screens for Dame, and he's able to make the pinpoint pass for Giannis, who gets the easy flush. Going quick opens up so many options, as this time Dame finds Prince for a transition triple. With Damian Lillard deciding to run the offense much quicker, it's definitely one of 3 steps in the right direction to get that offensive rating back to the top 10. Last season, the Bucks had one of the best offensive ratings in the league, ranking 6th overall, putting up 118.4 points per game. Compared to this current season where Milwaukee have the 11th rated offense, scoring just 114.3 points per game, last season's offense was certainly better. However, it's been that defensive rating that's led to wins, seeing a dramatic improvement going from 19th rated last season all the way up to 8th rated this season, and there's no signs of that dropping. The Bucks genuinely have a talented defensive roster, which perfectly complements the skill set of Damian Lillard. With Damian Lillard starting to really push the pace in transition, this Bucks offense has started to look more and more convincing as of late. But the key for the rest of the season will be consistency. And a big part of their offensive consistency over the last week has been how aggressive Dame has been getting to his shot. The Bucks getting Dame time earlier and more often in games has been a driving factor in their recent offensive success, putting up more than 120 points in each of the last 4 games. Damian Lillard has been a catalyst to this offensive outburst, and that's not just to do with him upping his pace, but it's also how he's just been playing more aggressive, looking for his shot. This is what it looks like when Dame plays aggressive. Here, getting to the step back mid-range jumper. Dame is still Dame. Here, taking KCP's ankles for a mid-range hit. With mismatches, Dame is deadly. Here, punishing Grady Dick, getting to the mid-range jumper once again. Last season, a big issue for this Bucks offense was how Dame was unable to leverage his driving ability to get better looks from deep, because Giannis isn't a floor spacer. To combat this, Dame has been finishing less this season, tweaking his field goal selection to instead go for more mid-range jumpers. Now, it's not like he isn't getting to the basket at all, here lulling KCP to sleep for an explosive drive. Dame is still getting some opportunities inside, these coming from screening actions and isolations, but he's He's just finding it much easier to get to that mid-range jumper more often. But it's also off those screening actions where he's made an aggressive adjustment. Especially in those pick and roll sets with Giannis, it was clear that Dame was unsure exactly what to do with a player as dominant as Giannis. Oftentimes he would just pass him the ball even if it wasn't the right decision, not making the most of the space he had. It seems like Dame is really understanding this as of late, often ignoring Giannis when he comes off these actions to call his own number. It's so important that he mixes it up, because if he did make the pass to Giannis every time, the action wouldn't be nearly as effective, because teams would know that Giannis is getting the ball. So having Damian Lillard be a threat to pass or shoot off these screen and roll actions with the added space has made him so incredibly dangerous. On this play, instead of making the pass to Giannis like he would have last season, he instead calls his own number and scores. Here, using the screen of Lopez once more, he again doesn't settle for the pass, taking advantage of the space and the mismatch he has. But of course, what makes him so dangerous is his ability to knock down ridiculous shots. Here, making a 31-footer like only Dame can. His shot making has been well documented for years, and even though his efficiency was down last season, shooting just 35% from deep, those numbers have rose right back up. On the season, Damian Lillard is actually having his third most effective three-point shooting season of his entire career, only behind the 2014 and 2020 seasons, shooting a blistering 39% from deep on 8.9 attempts per game. Dame being Dame is the entire reason why the Bucks traded for him in the first place, as too often it looked like he was trying to be a Rajon Rondo pass-first type point guard when the team really needs him to be Damian Lillard, and the coaching staff and Dame agree.
Just talking to, me and Vin Baker maybe about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, we had a really long phone conversation where, he just was like, it's actually time for you to just go and be who you are. Don't worry about doing the right thing and all of that stuff. Like, you play the right way as it is. It's time for you to just take off and go.
As Dame said, even when he's in that aggressive mode, he still plays the right way, getting his teammates good looks. Over this 4-game stretch where he averaged 26 points per game, Dame notably still put up 6.3 assists. So even when he's in his most aggressive state, he's still able to make the right passes. And I think he's starting to realize that he can just play really aggressive every game, not having to worry about his teammates getting touches. Instead, going out and getting his. Finding a way to slot Damian Lillard into this Bucks offense has proven to be a challenge. And at first, Dame tried to tone his game down to fit in with Giannis. But now that Lillard has been in Milwaukee for long enough, he's finally realizing that he's not a guest on this team, as this is his team along with Giannis. Dame and Giannis are the 1A and 1B of this team, and Lillard is finally realizing that, becoming a lot more aggressive with his shot selection, while still being able to fit in perfectly fine with the Bucks' offensive system. On this play, Giannis fakes that he's getting to his mid-range jumper, only to quickly hand it off for Damian Lillard, who knocks this one down on the move. This is a similar action, as Giannis draws the attention, only for him to again get it to Dame on the handoff for another triple. But it isn't just with Giannis, as here he gets into the handoff game with Lopez, getting the bucket to drop plus the foul. Brooks' handoffs with Dame have been great, here generating another clean look. Now in the pick and roll, both defenders go to Dame, leaving Lopez open from distance, and he hits. Being able to shoot or pass at an extremely high level off of these pick and roll actions is exactly what the offense has been begging for and has finally received. On this play, Giannis was able to get the mismatch under the basket, and even though Dame could have just made the simple entry pass, he's able to make Giannis's life even easier with the alley-oop. Plays like these are a great demonstration of the comfort level Dame has got within this offense, as there's finally real chemistry here. Here is another smart read, as off the offensive rebound, Dame makes the lightning fast decision to swing it to AJ Green open for 3. This is one of their best actions, as it's a wedge with Dame and Brook, having Giannis just one pass away on the 45 angle cut. And here it is at work, getting Giannis an open finish. His fit with the team's offense has been so much better because he's actually been very good without the ball in his hands. Here, catching and shooting off the Middleton-Lopez pick and roll. Dame's feeling more comfortable off the catch, here knocking this one down in rhythm. This was great, as Dame first comes off the screen from Brook, then fakes the handoff to GT to instead give it to Chris, who gives it right back, completely discombobulating the 76ers defense for an open corner hit. This is so smart, as off the Lopez screen, Dame's able to get Barnes on his back, then uses a head fake to move Kelly Olynyk to then hit Brook Lopez upstairs for 2. I've heard people say that Giannis is Milwaukee's best player, but Damian Lillard is the most important player on the roster, and I couldn't agree more. When Dame's firing and making the right decisions, this team is borderline unstoppable. Even in the recent game against the Sixers, when Dame had a slow start to the game shooting-wise, Philly were able to stay attached. And it was only when Dame started knocking down shots in the fourth quarter when Milwaukee were able to pull away. It's clear now more than ever that Dame is the Bucks' offensive cornerstone, as he's become vital to what this team does on that side of the ball. And with their defense getting better and better, I would hate to face this Milwaukee Bucks team in a 7-game series. But these are just my takes. Is Damian Lillard the most important player on the Bucks or not? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments section below.